Long before sleek fountain pens or clicky ballpoints existed, there lived a curious boy named Ilan in a small, dusty village where writing was done with charcoal, broken twigs, or if you were lucky, a feather dipped in berry juice. Ilan was only 13, but his mind was older, always buzzing, always searching. He had questions nobody else cared to ask. Why did charcoal smudge so easily? Why did feathers break? Why did every written letter feel like it was fading the moment it was born? He loved to write stories, thoughts, dreams, things he couldn't say out loud, but every time he finished, the words would blur, or rain would wash them away. One day, after another ruined journal page, Ilan stood at the riverbank, staring at the currents as they carried his broken words downstream. That's when it hit him. What if I could trap the ink? What if I could hold it inside something, like a cage, but gentle, a tube? And what if, instead of dipping a feather every few lines, the ink could flow on its own? The idea stuck to him like a mosquito bite. That night, he stayed up, tinkering with hollow bird bones, melted wax, and crushed berries. He tried to seal one end, fill the other, and let the juice drip out slowly from a sharpened tip. It didn't work. It exploded once. Another time it clogged. Another time the ink just disappeared. The other villagers laughed. Making a stick that bleeds words, are you? They'd say. His own teacher told him, you're wasting time, use the tools we have. But Ilan couldn't stop. It wasn't just about writing, it was about changing the way people thought. About making thoughts permanent. Days turned to weeks, failures piled up, but then, one morning, after nearly giving up, Ilan tried something different. He used a small hollow reed, sealed with hardened tree sap, and inserted a tiny carved wooden nib. He added the ink, his own mix of boiled bark, iron flakes, and berries, and waited. He tested it on an old piece of dried bark. And to his shock, the pen wrote. Smooth, dark, no smudging. The ink flowed like it was alive, like it wanted to tell stories. He stared at the line he drew, his hands shaking. It works, he whispered. He didn't sleep that night. He didn't eat much the next day. He just wrote. And for the first time in his life, his thoughts felt real, etched, solid, almost eternal. Soon, others noticed. His teacher, the same man who called it nonsense, borrowed it and didn't return it. A merchant offered Ilan 5 gold coins for one. A traveler from another town offered 10. Before he knew it, Ilan wasn't just a boy with a dream. He was an inventor. He made dozens of pens by hand, each with better ink, smoother design. He called it Nira, which in his language meant, whisper that stays. He began teaching others how to make them. People wrote faster, clearer, neater. Letters could now be sent farther, read easier. Knowledge spread like wildfire. Soon, messages weren't lost to the rain. Histories could be recorded without fear of fading. Songs, stories, secrets, they all lived longer. Kings heard of this magical pen. One sent messengers demanding Ilan bring it to the palace. But Ilan refused. Let everyone have it, he said. Not just kings, he shared his design freely, hiding nothing. Other inventors improved it, changed the materials, sharpened the tips. But the idea, the soul, was always Ilan's. As years passed, the village that once mocked him became famous for the boy who gave the world its voice. He grew old, lived simply, and never asked for riches. His walls were covered with writings, his own stories, others' letters, poems, maps, dreams, all made possible by the little invention he had once built from reeds and tree sap. Children would visit him, asking, "Did you really make the first pen?" And he'd smile, hand them one, and say, "No, I just gave thoughts a home." When he passed away, the entire village mourned. But they didn't carve a stone or build a statue. Instead, they wrote. Every home lit a candle and wrote a letter to Ilan, thank you notes, stories, favorite memories, and left them under the tree where he used to sit. By morning, the tree was surrounded by words. Some said the wind carried them up. Some say the tree still whispers them at night. But one thing was certain, Ilan had given the world more than just an invention. He gave it a way to remember. And though he was gone, his creation lived on, in every notebook, every signature, every scribbled idea that once only lived in the silence of a mind. All because one boy asked, what if words could flow forever?